What's up, everybody? It's me, Troy, and I'm back again with another video. And I want to go ahead and say thanks to everybody who recently commented, liked, and subscribed to any of my videos in the past. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, Lizzie tagged me for a tag called I Would Never. She's the original creator of this tag, and as you go along to her channel, you'll be able to see her video on this topic as well. So once again, thanks Lizzie for tagging me, and we're gonna get started. So it's like, I would never, it's like Double Dare. You remember, on your mark, get set? Well, no, it ain't really like that. Okay, so the first statement is I have never, as in I have never read a book that I believe everybody else has read. I'm trying to make this quick, but I just said the second book in the Twilight series. What was it called? I don't know what it's called, but we'll just put that there. Now, I'm not saying that everybody read it, but I know it's really super popular, but I haven't read it. I read the first one, but I haven't read the second one. I have never. Okay, so the second statement is I have never read anything so awesome. So you're basically, I think she has it that you're picking your favorite book. That's going to be difficult. We already know that we all have favorite books, but I went ahead and chose Gloria Naylor's Mama Day, which is one of my absolute favorite books. Sorry, I have to do it like that. Like, that's just me expressing how much I love this book. But anyway, Gloria Naylor's Mama Day, you guys see me talk about this before. I'm going to try to round this up into one ball. We're talking hoodoo, black culture, black folklore, tragedy, sacrifice, love, relationships, all rolled into one. And I'm gonna just sum it up here. This is really a superficial statement of mine here to sum it up. But for all you ladies at home who know you got a good man, yo dude, he come home, he cook you beef roast. Yes, I said beef roast, white rice and gravy. If you know what song I got that from, then please leave a comment below. But you know, he's doing all these things for you, massaging your feet, he's putting up with your headaches and your stubbornness, then you need to read this book, girl. Yeah, that's for you ladies who be giving your man a hard time. You know you got a good man at the house. Okay, so the third statement is I never thought I would get through it. So you're picking a book that you powered your way through and that you didn't think you would ever get through. That was... Child. Listen, I went ahead and picked The Running Man by Richard Bachman / Stephen King. I read that book. It took everything in my spirit, my heart and soul to get through it. I was basically white knuckling my way through it. Well, it's brown knuckling for me, but I was basically brown knuckling my way through that book. I don't have it. I'm not going to even present it. Not that I'm trying to be, you know, mean or anything, but just it's a done deal. I'm done. It's gone. The library has it. They can do whatever they want with that damn book. Statement number 4 is I would never read that, and it's basically picking a book that you DNF'd, you're done with it, completely done with it, or a series that you're just like, look, I'm not gonna do this. I don't have time for it. But I went ahead and chose Iris Johansen's The Face of Deception. This is the first book in Johansen's Eve Duncan's forensic thriller series. I read this one, I got like halfway through the second one and I bailed. Like, girl, I'm telling you, we had like a ball and chain, like we threw the chain over the boat with the anchor. The other link was on my ankle. I went overboard with this series. Girl, I just went into the ocean with the fishes. We just drowned. We was just done, and that was just it. Dramatic, but it's the truth. But anyway, since I really haven't talked about this series so much on the channel, and it is a crime thriller, and you know that's my thing, I'm gonna go ahead and just say that the reason I did not want to pursue this series any further is because I thought Eve Duncan, the main protagonist, was a... You heard that? No, for real, I did not like Eve, girl. Let me tell you. She has a very interesting career, and the hook to this series is extremely, extremely alluring and something that I just wanted to really love, but I could not get into the character. Like I said in a couple seconds ago, I just did not like her. She's a forensic sculptor. Basically, what she does is, like, if people come across the remains of a certain victim, you know, it's the skull. She uses her talents, her abilities to sculpt, you know, the face so that we can put you know, the police can put a face on the victim. And the thing is that I didn't like about her is because she was just so cold toward everybody else in this book. I mean, like, cold toward them. Now, granted, Johannes brothers, but granted, the author had gave her an interesting background in which Eve was, her daughter was kidnapped and murdered by a crazy psychopath, and I believe that's like a recurring theme throughout the whole series. So that will give her good reason to be cold towards other people. But I'm telling you, child, like, I just really did not like Eve. I thought she was a cold-hearted snake. She's a cold-hearted snake. Look into her eyes. But yeah, I just did not like her. So I don't know. I really want to get back into the series, but I mean, there's so many other cool things that I'm reading right now that it's really not that dire. Okay, so number 5 is I Would Never Regret Reading That, and that's basically a book that was recommended to you that you would never regret reading, and that was kind of easy. I went ahead and chose, can you get that glare? It's like, what, 1:57 in the afternoon? I chose Alan Hollinghurst's The Swimming Pool Library. Love this book. I'm giving y'all too much, but I'm just saying I love this book. I'm not going to speak too much about it, but you know what it is. Thanks, Dee Dee, for recommending this book to me. I know we're supposed to read the other book, and girl, let me tell you, I have to catch up with you about what happened in March, and I know you was doing your own thing also, but I'll put the link down to my video on this as well as my written thoughts on it below, because I gotta keep moving. So number 6 is I Would Never Do That, and that's basically name a character who you kind of related to or identified with, who made choices that you certainly would not make. I chose Paulina Poroskova, I think I said her name right. Y'all know her. She was like a judge on America's Next Top Model. But anyway, I chose her book, A Model Summer. I hope you guys can see it. I read this like a long time ago, like a couple years ago. But it's basically about a girl. I think she was Swedish, and then she was 14. She was Swedish. She was picked up by a photographer, and he invited her to Paris, where she, slowly became a model. She went into the modeling industry, and that means living in those model houses and whatnot, with other girls. But what all that entails is that, look, she's a girl from a countryside, moved into Paris, put into this industry of modeling, so that would include parties, wild parties, drugs, alcohol, all that stuff that can tempt her from being, lured away from her career and, the beginnings of her career. But while she did get into those conflicts a little bit, the majority of the time that I remember specifically is that she was always trying to help a particular model that she was living with, who was having a more difficult time adjusting to that change. There was a scene where the main character was helping one of the other models into the house. The other model was drunk off her ass. She went to use the bathroom, I think, and she used the bidet to do the number 2. So I just remember that scene so clearly. But see, I'm reading that scene, I would have been looking at the door like, while watching her do this, watching her make a mess, and then asking me for help to clean it up. I would have been like, look, you are not finna get in the way of my career. You are trifling. You are just getting on my nerves. I got a photo shoot to do tomorrow. You gonna keep your ass in this bathroom and clean it up yourself. I'm not helping you, girl. I got to go to bed. But that's one of the choices that I would have made, because in that book, she did not make that choice. She decided to help that girl clean up her own damn mess. Oh, no, ma'am. Number 7 is I would never admit. So name a book or something that you would be embarrassed to admit that you read. I don't do embarrassments. I read what I want to read, how I want to read it, when I want to read it, and I ain't got time for that other stuff. Girl, I ain't trying to prove no points to nobody. Number 8 is name a book that is so heartwarming that just touched your heart. I really had a difficult time with this because, in my library, there's a lot of like crazy chaos with the crime fiction or whatever. But I went ahead and chose Rainwater by Sandra Brown. And I'm just going to read the first paragraph to it. So, the year is 1934. With the country in the stranglehold of drought and economic depression, Ella Barron runs her Texas boarding house with an efficiency that ensures her life will be kept in balance. Between chores of cooking and cleaning for her residents, she cares for her 10-year-old son, Solly, a sweet but challenging child whose misunderstood behavior finds Ella on the receiving end of pity, derision, and suspicion. So basically, there's this lady who owns a boarding house, and she has a son who's handicapped, and she opens up her doors to this particular man, sort of like a drifter that comes into town. And in the meantime, the town has like this, I want to say like a rally in which they're trying to gather up her property because of a shooting. But anyway, I really did enjoy Rainwater. I do recommend that book to anybody who wants to read something that is heartwarming. I personally had like a tear to come down my face at the end of the book, how it resolved itself. But that's all the details I'm going to give, so we'll move on from there. Number 9 is I never laughed so hard. So name a book that you've never laughed so hard at. You guys have seen me talk about this 2 years ago, this series, but I chose Martha Grimes' Hotel Paradise, which is the first book in her Emma Graham series. Emma Graham is a 12-year-old precocious little tenacious, dogged amateur sleuth who runs around the towns and just gets into all kinds of crazy madness trying to solve a 40-year-old murder that happened within her community. Anyway, I just absolutely love that series, but there's no book that I can think of, no series that I can think of that had me laughing so much throughout each reading, so I definitely picked that book. Okay, so the 10th and final statement is I would have never made it through my childhood without reading these books, and I'm going to just go ahead and give you guys my favorite, the books that I grew up with reading. Sweet Valley High. Let's go ahead and make this clear, y'all. You know I could read Sweet Valley High. I could read Sweet Valley High and not nobody asks a damn question. The Ancient One by T.A. Barron, my absolute favorite fantasy book. I just love this book. Love it, love it. T.A. Barron is awesome. You know, it's so funny because as much as I love that book and love that author, I never really actually got a grip on reading fantasy as I grew up. And then R.L. Stine, which of course I chose The Cheerleaders. This was my first R.L. Stine book, which is the third book in his Cheerleaders series. A lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. Christopher Pike, who was the better writer than R.L. Stine. Let's all admit that Christopher Pike knew how to write as opposed to R.L. Stine, but you know, that's neither here nor there. Animorphs. I went ahead and chose a book with Rachel on it, but I would not be alive if it wasn't for Animorphs. And then of course Babysitter's Club, and I chose the one with Dawn on the cover because Dawn was my girl. Ooh, I mean I like the other girls and everything too, but I could relate to Dawn because Dawn was crazy as hell like me. Like she would just speak her mind and be done with it. The only thing is that I'm not from Cali and I'm not a vegetarian, but another thing that me and Dawn had in common was we like spooky stuff. So spooky stuff and mysteries, so that's why I really connected with Dawn. But anyway, that's it guys. Thank you once again Elizabeth for tagging me for this. It gave me some material to work on this rainy day. Well, it looked like it's about to rain, but thanks again. Anybody who wants to do this tag, I welcome you to it. Just make sure you leave a link down below whenever you get the time to share your tag with other people. So I'm not gonna tag anybody particularly, but you can put your link down below if you wanna tag. Okay, let's just go. See y'all. Peace.